So welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. Our mission for this one is to unpack a fresh July 2026 financial report from East Value Research. We are looking at VIGO Photonics, which is this Polish semiconductor manufacturer.
Yeah, and it's a super interesting case because analysts just upgraded their stock to a buy. They bumped the price target massively from 517 to like 658.20 Polish zloty.
Right, which is pretty ironic if you think about it. I mean, look at the semiconductor sector over the last couple of years. The hype around AI chip makers has been absolutely deafening.
Oh yeah, completely deafening. Everyone is fighting this highly publicized war for data center dominance.
Exactly. And meanwhile, Vigo seemed to just completely miss that wave. They were really struggling for a bit.
But that's kind of why analysts are so optimistic right now. It really highlights that there is more than one way to win in this space. While everyone else was obsessed with consumer tech and generative AI algorithms, Vigo has basically been selling the picks and shovels to heavy industry and defense.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because they missed that flashy AI bullet train that peers like a coherent core road. But they have been quietly laying tracks in these specialized heavy-duty industries.
Yeah, and you really see it in the numbers now. I mean, they had a notably weak first quarter this year, but looking at the preliminary Q2 2026 figures, it's a massive rebound.
Yeah, we are talking total revenues hitting nearly 35 million zloty, right?
Which is up over 70% year over year in a single quarter. That is just wild for hardware manufacturing.
I mean, that can't just be a sudden organic spike in demand, right?
Well, it actually comes down to a record backlog. They're
Yeah.
sitting on almost 93 million zloty. They're seeing incredibly robust Chinese demand for low-cost gas detection modules.
Got it. And those are like sensors for factories and stuff.
Yeah, essentially highly specialized sensors that detect chemical leaks or emissions, absolutely critical for safety in harsh environments. And they are pairing that industrial demand with rising orders from the Polish defense sector.
I do want to push back on those Q2 numbers for a second, though, because the report mentions Vigo just completed an $8.4 million acquisition of a U.S.-based company, Infrared Associates.
Right, they did.
So it seems highly likely they just, I don't know, bought that revenue to pad a good quarter and satisfy investors.
You'd think so, but what's fascinating here is that it wasn't just about buying revenue. The revenue bump is actually a secondary benefit. The real strategic value here is that the acquisition bought compliance.
Wait, meaning it cleared the legal red tape for them?
Exactly. It gave Vigo a physical facility in Florida, and more importantly, the exact licenses and legal framework they need to sell directly to the U.S. defense sector.
Oh, wow. Because you cannot just walk into the Pentagon and sell foreign military hardware without those credentials.
No, definitely not. So this positions Vigo to sell advanced infrared arrays directly to the Americans. To give you a sense of scale, the new Polish Borsuk infantry fighting vehicle requires 2 of these infrared arrays per single unit.
And just to clarify for you listening, those arrays are the literal eyes of the vehicle. They allow it to target and navigate in, like, complete darkness or through heavy smoke. Needing 2 arrays per vehicle scales up incredibly fast for a manufacturer.
Extremely fast. And with that U.S. compliance secured, they can now pitch those exact same high-margin tracking systems to the American military.
But, breaking into the U.S. defense sector doesn't guarantee long-term success if you can't actually deliver the product on time. Which brings us to a glaring red flag in this report.
Yeah, the analysts are definitely hedging their bets here.
Because of management's documented history of overpromising, right? They are baking a ton of caution into their projections.
And they are completely right to do that. For example, Vigo's dedicated production line for those lucrative infrared arrays we just talked about, it's been delayed. Management is now pushing completion all the way back to mid-2027.
Man, in the hardware supply chain, a year delay is an absolute eternity. And it's not just the arrays. Look at their Hyper-PIC project.
Look at the moonshot.
Yeah, this brilliant tech venture involving photonic integrated circuits. They basically use light instead of electricity to process information, which makes them insanely fast and efficient. Vigo even secured a massive EU grant of roughly 103 million euros for it.
But the project is completely paused.
Right. They have over 100 million euros just sitting there. I have to assume that's because building the infrastructure for photonic circuits is incredibly capital intensive, and they are short on cash to finish the job.
Spot on. They cannot find a strategic partner willing to front the remaining 199 million euros in equity required to actually build it.
Wow.
So they have this incredible vision, and the foundational tech, but executing the timelines and securing the capital is proving to be a massive hurdle.
So what does this all mean, just distilling all of this down for you? Basically, Vigo is transitioning out of a period of heavy, painful investment. They are standing on the edge of a potentially highly lucrative, defense-driven future, provided, of course, that their management can actually execute on these delayed timelines.
Which leaves us with a really interesting angle to consider.
Oh, what's that?
Well, as global defense spending continues to surge, governments are pouring billions into these highly specialized hardware manufacturers. Will mid-sized companies holding vital defense contracts become the new quiet giants of the tech world, entirely separate from the AI hype cycle?
That is a great question to leave on. Definitely something to think about.